All right, everyone, welcome back. So in this episode, we're gonna get ready for Redwood. All week I've been driving the car. I put probably 6 or 7 tanks of gas through this thing. I did the oil change. All the oil and stuff looked great. There was some fleck in it, but none of it was ferrous. But all week it ran great. I started adjusting the tune a bit myself. I am, at least able to tune the car. I just don't trust myself, so that's why I engage a tuner. Anyway, so I took the car out a couple days ago, having the fuel map a lot closer than I had before, and I got on it. I was just heading back to work and said, I'm gonna data log this so I can look at it when I get to work, and got on it. Car ran okay from what I remember, and then I gave it a rev because it felt like it was breaking up, and then boom, smoke out. All right, just did a pull, and now the car is smoking. Definitely something not good. So we're gonna get this home and see what the hell's going on here. All right, we limped it home. That was quick. And the one thing that I'd be okay with was a rear main blowout, which is the one thing that would cause that much oil behind the car. And it looks like that's what happened. So that's a ton of work. Cool. So like I said, that was 2 days ago. And then I pulled the car in, ordered a rear main seal, and now here we are. So we're gonna pull the transmission out, we're gonna pull the bell housing, we're gonna pull the clutch, all the same stuff we just did, which is okay. I guess I can check and see how the clutch disc is wearing. Hopefully the oil did not spray up into the clutch disc. I'm really crossing my fingers on that one. So next week the plan is I'm going to get the car tuned. That is a remote tune, and then the same day or the next day, I don't remember, I'm gonna put it on the dyno and just see what the numbers are, and then make sure everything seems right. And then I have an alignment scheduled, so we're gonna finally get this thing aligned, get the dyno done, the tuning, and then we're leaving. So we essentially have 1 week from today. We have a weekend to another weekend, and then we need to leave. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna get into it. I'm gonna do a compression test just to make sure that nothing is hurt in the engine, and then we'll start working on the transmission. I'm gonna get to work, got a lot to do. Here we go. All right, compression test done. So the compression is 130 basically across the board, which, if it wasn't a performance engine, I would be concerned, but all the plugs look great. I'm not worried about those. The timing is kind of low. We're at 20 all in, under boost on E85. Most say you can run up to 25. Essentially what I'm attributing to lower compression to is the open up ring gap and the huge overlap on the cam. So this is about as big of a cam as you're gonna run with a hydraulic setup. So most likely it's bleeding off through the exhaust. Unconfirmed, I haven't actually looked at the events, and I'm not a cam specialist, but that's my impression. The car runs good, 130 PSI everywhere. I mean, could be higher, but as long as it's everywhere and it's not like super low and super high, I'll take it. All right, so last night Logan and I got a little sidetracked. We had planned on taking the coolant temp sensor out of the back of the head there, and that's used for the dashboard odometer gauges. I have one here in the front of this head, right there, that's used for the Holly. And I moved that sensor down into the drain plug. After I get the car back running and driving, I'm gonna drive it for a couple days with the containment pan off and just see what the oil temperature is at normal driving rates. And then once I get a pretty good reading that I trust, then I'm gonna go ahead and put the containment pan on and see if it goes up. I am a little curious. People are saying that because you don't get any airflow around here with the containment pan on, that it can get hot. I just wanna make sure that doesn't happen while I'm driving. So if I have to take it off during the driving parts of the event, then I will do that and just put it back on for the drag race parts. But I would like to know one way or the other. So anyways, we got a lot off yesterday. Basically shifter, transmission, bell housing, clutch, and then we're ready to replace the rear main. So let me get to that now, and then I'll come back with you when I get it all out. All right, fun. All right, here we are, totally new day. Took some time yesterday just to recuperate. Everything's back in place. Car's already been started. Oil is starting to burn off. Everything looks good. Tuning's on Wednesday, and today is Sunday. So we have a couple days to drive it, just make sure everything feels all right. Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we are gonna try and build a belly pan or a containment pan. NHRA says you have to have at least, I think it's 2-inch high rails on each side It's supposed to go from rail to rail, and it has to have, I think, 6 attachment points. I'll have to look it up to double check. So we got some 080 aluminum, big sheet here. And the nice thing about this is it came with the cardboard that protected it in shipping. But what I'm gonna use the cardboard for is for a template, right? Because it's exactly the right size. So I'll use that template, put it underneath the car, and then see if I can figure out how to cut it, how to bend it, how to get it to fit up in here, because there's not a lot of large area to put something like this. The pan is like the lowest part of the suspension. Here, let me just show you. All right, so looking at the front of the car, you can tell that the lowest part is the bell housing and then the oil pan. I'm not worried about the bell housing for a containment pan, so it needs to start either right at there, because there's a lot of bolts that I can use, or it needs to start in between there to hold all the oil in. So the idea of this, if you don't know, is in case your engine blows up, if it throws rods or breaks the crank or whatever, all of this stuff goes into a pan and then doesn't go under your back tires, causing you to lose control. So the idea here is it needs to be big enough and tall enough that it will get all of the material that comes out. So what I'm gonna do is grab the cardboard, and because I have everything hidden up underneath here, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, but I think what I'm gonna do, like if you imagine a straight line coming up to these wires, I'm just gonna take a little hoop out of it, a little channel, a little cut, and just try to make everything that's currently in there fit, because I like how everything looks in the car. Everything works. I want it to stay the way it is. I just need a little more protection. So let me get the cardboard out and we'll get something done here. All right, we've made some progress. So there's our cardboard and clearance for the most part in all the spots that we need. So the idea is we're gonna take a single strap. It's gonna go from here down all the way across and up to there on the other side of this. And that will be a very strong mounting point, because it would have to rip that piece of metal for it to actually let go. And then in the back, what I'm thinking is, so it'll be an L bracket that comes down, sits flush with this. This will have a nut cert in it, so you just run the bolt up into there on both sides, and that'll be 4 attachment points. I can admit when I overestimate my abilities, and in this case, I think I may have overestimated my thick aluminum sheet metal bending abilities. So 080, 8/100ths of an inch is pretty thick, but not if you have a metal brake. If you have a metal brake, it's pretty easy. If you have a hammer and a bench and an angle iron, and that's all that you have to bend that kind of material, I would go something thinner. I'd go 063 perhaps. So having said that, let me show you what I got here. And you know, I'm pretty hard on myself, so I'm sure other people are gonna look at it and say, well, that doesn't look so bad. And it doesn't. It's gonna serve its purpose. So a few things to note if you're making one of these for yourself, on a Nova specifically. There is the lines for the power steering right there. Mine are bent a little bit because of my custom-made AC bracket. What I was hoping is that all of this could stay closed up, but there really is just no way of doing it, right? Because of this damn clamshell. And I'm an idiot, I turned off the camera. What I was saying was I was hoping that this could stay closed up, because when you drive, you're just gonna get air straight in there, and then the pig mat and stuff's gonna wanna just flap in the wind and just get caught up in things. Not my favorite. So what I'm gonna have to do is fashion some kind of a, I don't know, like a safety wire hold down for all the pig mat inside. I haven't really figured out what I'm gonna do yet. So this side starts to become a little more clear as to why this material is probably not the best for someone like myself without a brake so far, as of yet. It's all Hammer City right here, and I just was looking for something a little nicer. You know, it's a $100 piece of metal that I just took some emotion out and got an angle. It's okay. I did my best to get it flat, but it's pretty bad. And then this was supposed to be 3 inches and ended up at 2 because my angle iron slipped when I was beating it with a hammer. So this is 2 inches high, this rail. Let me show you the back before I move to the other side. So it goes up into the bow housing area, which is fine. I'll get my welding practice in on this one, and then we'll weld this whole thing up. And so, like I said, there's the back. You can see it. It's not beautiful, but it is functional. And even if I only rivet the damn thing, I could at least put silicone in the corners so that oil can't get out. That would not be my preference, but I will try and weld it. I do have a TIG welder and I have some aluminum skills, though it's not great. Okay, so, and here's the other side. This is a full 3-inch. This is what I wanted. I will do the volume calculations just to see how much this will hold. I'm pretty sure it's gonna hold at least what's in the oil pan. So it's not a huge deal. And again, on this, I was hoping that all this would be blocked up. I don't know if maybe I'll weld a strap over this edge here so that if I slam on the brakes after an engine blows up, I don't get oil out the front. I don't know. With the pig mat, it should just absorb it like almost instantly. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. So anyhow, we're gonna go one strap. This is gonna be the first one I do because it's gonna hold the whole thing up. We're gonna go one here. It's gonna go straight across to the other side in the exact same area on the other side. And then on the back here, I was thinking, get you back here. I was thinking about going from like just one of these bolts and down. Now I'm wondering, even though this is the lowest part, I'm gonna have to trim this a bit so I can get it higher, because right now this pan is the lowest part, which I guess is okay, but it's not gonna last as long as this, and this is hammered, and I think I've only hit the ground 3 times, maybe. This will just get destroyed. Ready for some hammered dog shit. There it is. It's just not what I was going for. I was really looking for something a little nicer. But like I said, when you don't have a metal brake, I mean, just getting the walls straight and bent is a challenge. So I'll take what I can get. But yeah, pig mat's gonna fit great in here. Probably could fit like 4, I'm guessing. I have a whole box of them over there. I'll take a look. But at least I have it. This is better than not having one. It's just not beautiful. All right, signing off. See you tomorrow. All right, so here's a new day update. So we got the piece made that goes from driver's side, passenger side there. It's holding it up nicely. So what I'm gonna do is I've marked it and I'm gonna weld that to the pan so that all you have to do is unbolt the bolt there and a bolt there, and then a bolt in the back and then another bolt in the back. I haven't yet decided what I'm gonna do for all the mounting, but I'm gonna figure something out. But I'm gonna get these done first. So I need to brush up on aluminum welding and just see if I can get some stuff to stick together. It doesn't need to be pretty, just needs to work. Okay, well, I'm gonna take a little break, but I at least got everything tacked. So the last thing I was working on was getting this attached. Unfortunately, this is the side I started on with my aluminum welding. It was a little rusty. But fortunately, and on the inside, let me get you turned around here. This is what we ended with. So, a vast improvement. Pretty happy with it. Just the other side doesn't look like that. So whatever. We will get this guy welded on here. I'm not going to weld the entirety. I'm just going to weld probably in a few different areas just to keep it from moving. But there it is. I mean, it's in there pretty good. I don't even have the back mounts in. So feeling pretty good about it. I'm going to go eat some dinner and then we'll come back out. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a completed containment pan. This is a good first pan for someone who's never done it before. I definitely could see a lot of places that I would change. This should not have been welded this far out. I had a clamp here, so I was just tacking it, and then I said, well, I already have it tacked, I might as well just weld it out, without thinking, hey, this is to contain the pig mat. Luckily, it's not a big deal. It's actually exactly the same width, so that's fine. What I have here is a screw with nutsert. I didn't want to put the screw holes like down in the bottom, since the whole point of this is to hold fluid. I didn't want to give a place to drain. So I welded these guys on in just a simple bracket. It works. I was concerned about air getting in here and kind of flapping this around and then it working its way out and getting caught in something. So this is a must, I think. I don't know if this is permanent and the best solution, but it's the only thing I could think of that was easy. So that's that. We have that fully welded. We have the rear brackets welded on. Excuse me. The rear brackets welded on. It actually fits in there really well. It looks like it's gonna fit like garbage, but surprisingly, it just bolts right in. So there we go. Let me get it in there and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, and here we are. So as before, we got one bolt there, one bolt there, one in the bell housing, another in the bell. And this thing's actually pretty strong. The front edge flexes a little because there's no support there, but because it's back behind that bar, I don't think it's going to be any problem. I'm actually pretty happy with it, all things considered. And, you know, most of all, it'll probably help in case anything ever happens. So there you go. That took me 2 days. Of course, I had to buy the metal and stuff, but for the most part, it was just 1/8" straps here, 1/8" straps in the back, and then I used 16 straps in the center, and then the pig mat. So I think all in, I'm probably at like $150, 160, 175. Cool glove. So something that's been bothering me are these rivets, and the fact that the vent doesn't sit flat on the hood. So a few of these I got to fix. A few of these I got to take out because they're not stainless. I got a whole box of stainless ones. So we're going to do some grinding. I feel like the best way is the die grinder. Even typically you would use a large drill bit, but these are spinning in their bores. So I'm hoping I can just cut the head off without ruining the metal underneath. We will see. Taking some precautions. We're going to tape some stuff up. I'm going to lay a blanket down so I don't scratch more of the hood than necessary, but I'm hoping this goes okay. All right, here's your update. So down in here, we got a lot of rivets, a lot of little stainless rivets. Some of these are whole. So I found that these were so ill attached to the metal that if I push them out from the backside, they just pop right out, which was a lot easier than grinding the heads off, which takes forever if you're careful. So now what we have is all stainless rivets, which is cool. However, there's always a however, right? Some of these are a lot tighter than the other ones, right? So see if you can even see that on camera. Like this one here, this is a new one, right? So everything kind of dips in right here and everything on the outside is kind of loose. I think eventually I will end up replacing all of them with the longer but appropriately longer rivets. As you can see, all of those are replaced. These ones are not. They're just in there super shallow. I did hit them with a hammer and a chisel, and a nice little small one. None of them moved, so those ones are solid. But just visually, I think once I take the tape off, it'll probably look kind of weird. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go along this one. I marked the ones that are rusty. I know those are ones that need to be replaced. But the other ones, I'm just gonna hit them with a hammer to see if they come out. And if they do, it'll save me some time and I'll just replace them because I got a ton. So there we are, we'll work on the next one. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to worth it, this is a -5. So the amount of hammering I had to do to get these rivets out produced just the best results, you know? And I really didn't want to hammer them as hard as I did, but some of these just, especially the ones that I'd already replaced, I'm not even gonna worry about it at this point. Clearly the car is gonna get another hood one day, and it's gonna have to be repainted, and hopefully it can match. And until then, we're gonna rock this, and we're just gonna move on, because there's nothing I can do about it now, unfortunately. But there they are, so they're on, and they're tight now. They're definitely tight. Thanks to Tijuana for putting a ton of Bondo on the hood when I don't even know if it was necessary, but it is there, and now it's cracked in 2 spots when I was just fixing 1 spot. Although, just a reminder, it was bad enough that it needed to be removed. So, all right, there we are. Moving on with my day. It is midnight. I'm gonna just forget this ever happened. Cool. All right, it's tuning day. Let's fire this thing up. Let's go get tuned. All right, there's the bell mouth installed. So I ran the filter sock that's supposed to keep the water out. On the inside, since it was just a 5-inch, not the 8.5-inch like I should have bought, I think that'll do its job. Plus, it'll keep a little bit of the debris out. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Hopefully, it doesn't suck it into the engine. That would be worst case. We'll see what happens. right, so tuning done. Everything went really smooth, actually. There's only a couple things I need to watch for. If I have my intercooler pump all the way, it pulls so much amperage that the alternator can't keep up, so I was dipping a little bit in voltage, which was then dipping the fuel pumps, so I need to make sure that I keep that in check. But otherwise, it looks really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it to the dyno, assuming he has an opening, and I'm going to add 2 degrees and just see what it does, right? So we'll do a base run, we'll add 2 degrees, see if it picks up any horsepower. If it picks up like 50 horse, he said add another 2 degrees. I'm at 20 right now, so he said up to 25 max with a stock bottom end, but on E85, you're probably safe either way. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna call the dyno right now and see if there's an opening, and then we'll go from there. Good news. All right, it's the next day. We got the car cleaned up, looking nice. We are going to the dyno. So take me a couple minutes to get over there, get it strapped on, and then we will see what she can do. I am guesstimating minimum 700. So if I did the calculations based on the quarter-mile time, the 5.3 non-ported was at 620 to the wheels. I'm hoping I gained at least 80 horse getting a ported blower and ported heads and displacement, but we will see. Thank you. My dad's old wrench. He used to write his name on all of his tools. Old military thing, right? So you don't lose your shit.
You don't see like a lot of OSA spots though.
Yeah, I think that market was really expensive for a while.
Well, you can't get like a great OSA engine. So.
Yeah, so this engine I bought for $1,000. Bottom end, heads, everything for $1,000. It was a basket case. The dude had a shop take the engine out, and he said that there was a knock or something. They sent it to a machine shop, everything was fine, and then he built a dark engine through in his car, and he just had that one sitting around, and they couldn't get rid of it because nobody wanted to touch it because it was all apart. Yeah, I took a chance, and I was like, all right, fuck it, the machine shop said it was fine, I'll put it together. Yeah. So far, it's been great. I was kind of suspecting this would happen because it doesn't feel like 100 like 50 horse faster than what it was. So,
I mean, that's good power.
Yeah, in this car, it should do pretty good. I appreciate all the expertise.
Yeah. I mean, if you would have been ran with 3 files, you would have been stuck at 645, so we picked you up a few ponies.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And now I know that exhaust not out doing anything, which is wild.
A lot of people think they do, and we've had people try them on the dyno. I've yet to see one make a difference.
Have you seen that Engine Masters episode? You ever watch that stuff?
Yeah, I have.
And they picked up 60 horse on a 600 horse engine putting, they said they have to be right after the collectors, they can't be further back, but they had to be like right in that area. So I was like, oh, that's a sure win. But
you know, I think there's a lot of variables that go into that. A lot of that has to do with the actual cost. You have dual 3-inch on your car, so you're
enough flow.
that's plenty.
That'll flow a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping that whatever the headers weren't flowing, that maybe the exhaust would compensate for it with the cutouts.
Yeah, if it's choking down before, there's not much.
All right, everyone. So let's talk about the dyno that you just saw. So the numbers are a little lower than I have been talking about, right? So, I mean, this setup under the right conditions should make mid sevens pretty easy with the 85 and everything else. I think the reason that it's low is I'm not spinning the blower hard enough. So right now I have a small upper pulley and a stock lower pulley. And that combination of things, while does produce some boost, I'm seeing a max of 11. This blower can really make up to 20, right? It wants to be probably in the 15 to 18 range, leaving a lot of power on the table by not spinning it any harder. Unfortunately, because the car is short, I don't have a lot of space to put a third belt, which is what a CTSV would run, which then is a dedicated drive just for the supercharger. Right now, it's run off of the same pulley as the accessories, which simplifies the spacing, right? It's an F-body spacing, but it then makes it so that I can't actually spin the blower harder without spinning all the accessories. You spin the accessories too fast, you have issues with them burning out, not working at higher RPMs, et cetera, et cetera. So my fix, there's not a whole lot I can do at this point. Maybe someday I'll put a different radiator and different fan and I'll gain a little bit of space. I still have a condenser and a heat exchanger, and I also have a power steering cooler in there. I could delete that. Can't do that today. We got to leave. Today's Friday. We got to leave Sunday. So what can I do in the interim? I will show you the pictures here. So a pulley calculator is something that I've been using all along, and I've kind of known where I was probably going to end up. But the problem is once you start porting the heads and you start increasing the volume of the supercharger and stuff, a lot of those calculators just kind of fall away because you don't know all of those extenuating circumstances. And essentially what's happened is boost is a measurement of restriction, right? So if I have less boost, I have less restriction. Less restriction is great. The problem is I then need to up the boost, and that's where I'm falling short. So at 11 pounds, 665 horse at 26 degrees, is fine. It's decent. It's a hell of a lot of work for the 50 horse that I gained over the 5.3. The issue or the difference between the 5.3 and the 6.2 now is that the 5.3 had a lot of restriction, right? So the boost was high, which means you're adding more atmosphere, you can add more fuel, etc. And this one, it's just a big chamber that wants to be filled, and I'm not spinning it hard enough to do so. So what do we do now? What I can do is I can spin the engine faster, right? So I have the RPM limit set at 6,800. I can set it to 72, which is a large increase. For every 1,000, you gain up to 2 PSI on these setups, it looks like. So if I can't add another 1,000, I can't do 7,800 RPM. I'm just not comfortable doing that. I'm sure there's guys out there that would, but there's so many things in here that I'm just not comfortable spinning that fast. AC compressor, alternator, power steering, et cetera, et cetera. So I think 7,200 is a good limit. I hope to never hit that limit. I hope to shift at 7. At 7, we should see maybe 12, 13 PSI, gain us a little bit of power, and then we just hope for good track conditions, then I do my job. I'm going to call it right now. I just don't think the car will be that competitive considering some of the cars that I've seen. But as I've said all along, this is a race of attrition as much as it is a race of speed. So if they can't make the distance the entire week, hopefully somebody who can, that's at least competitively fast, can. If that's me, great. If not, that's fine too. Got 5th place last year. I would be happy to place 5th. There's 50 cars this year, so I mean, it's kind of insane. But anyways, lots of jibber jabber. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do an oil change. We're gonna check the plugs. I had a small misfire on the last dyno run, which everything was kind of hot, so who knows. I'm going to put on the AC belt, that's been chucking itself. I did make a fix for that, so hopefully that's resolved. I'm gonna put on the containment pan and then just kind of button a few things up. There's small things I need to do, but for the most part, the car is ready. I am gonna take the valve covers off and just kind of look at the valve train. I'm a little bit worried about these rocker arms. I don't know where they came from. I don't know if they were stock. I don't know if they were aftermarket. If they're aftermarket, I'm worried about them. If they're stock, I'm not. I've just seen a lot of aftermarket rocker arms break recently and just got me worried. I tried to order some. They wouldn't have been here in time by the time I really thought about it. So we're gonna hope for the best. So anyways, I'm gonna get to work. I'll catch back with you if I find anything important. At this point, I don't expect to, but I am gonna run a 550 oil instead of a 540, try and get that thickness up a little bit when it's hot. I'm expecting hot conditions this week. Maybe it won't be, but sitting in the lanes with the car running and stuff, it does get hot anyhow. And with the containment pan, I'm also expecting the oil temperatures to rise a smidge. Right now, unless I sit in traffic, they're like in the 150, 160 range. If I sit in traffic, they get all the way up to coolant temperature to 210, but they cool off quickly. But with the containment pan, they won't have a chance to. Anyways, lots to do. Talk to you in a little bit. Well, that was very unexpected. So I closed the trunk like I have 100,000 times and heard a loud bang. Apparently the trunk bar is not happy. It actually just snapped the end off. So now up in there is a broken bar. Cool, so now we get to hold my trunk open manually. That's amazing. Okie dokie. We leave tomorrow. All right, so we got the supercharger oil changed. We got the engine oil changed. We drained the catch can, which to this point, and after probably 6,000 miles, has never had anything in it, which is kind of weird. But we are ready to go. So she is going to drive to Oregon from Washington on street tires. We are bringing the drag radials. We'll throw them on. She'll drive on those all week. But for the drive down there, it didn't seem to make any sense to make her, drive on drag radials in possible rain. So we're gonna get this thing on the ground. We will get the trailer in here and see what we can get packed up. We got a lot of stuff to put in there. All right, here's an update. So we got the camper squared away. We got the hitch and everything set up on it. It's kind of a weird setup. I had to look at the video from last year actually to make sure I knew what I was doing, but that's all squared away. So now we can hook the trailer up. But before we do that, we need to get this trailer squared away. So sweet little setup I have here on my lawnmower that allows me to hook up things with a hitch, which is super useful. So we're gonna get this guy all built out. Then we're gonna throw it in the trailer, get it in there sideways and mount it up how it needs to be. And then we can put the car in there. Probably gonna be a later night. It's currently like 5 or 6. I'm guessing we won't have everything packed until 10 or 11. That would be my guess, but come back with you when the trailer's packed. Oh, it's also raining, which is what it was doing last year this time. So I feel like that's a good sign, even though I don't really want the rain. If it rains now, it won't rain during the race week. So that's good. All right, so a few hours later, we are packed. So I have definitely packed less stuff this year. Normally the jack is not inside of the truck box, nor are the jack stands, but I'm not taking a new cylinder head. I'm not taking a bunch of fluids this year. Last year I changed the oil and I brought transmission fluid just in case. I'm going to bring a catch pan just in case I need to capture that fluid. And if I need to change oil, I will buy some on the way. But we have all the tools and stuff in here. Pretty basic. Brought everything that I would normally need. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but you can borrow it, buy it, whatever. Gas cans, that goes in the car. Overall, feeling pretty good about it. So let's get this in the trailer. All right, and sometime later, we have everything packed. So I have probably 4 straps on this guy and 4 straps on this guy. Everything's looking good. This is normal. I'm okay with that. Everything's looking good except the car is lower this year. I tried to do that so I get a little more raise out of it at launch. Well, what it's enabled is the car to sit. You can't really see it. It's probably 2 inches from the trailer. Hold on, let me turn the light on. Okay. I mean, that's gonna bounce off the trailer the entire time. Really nothing I can do about it at this point. It has to be tied down, has to be tight, and the car is super low. So, is what it is. But it's in there and should make it. I probably should just check all the bell housing bolts when I get there, because, yeah. Okay, off to the next challenge. Good morning, everyone. So today is the day we leave for Redwood Rally 2024. So here we are. We got the whole family here. Everybody's had a little bit of coffee. We're all a little ready to go. Let's let's see how everyone's feeling. How are you feeling? What are you excited for?
Well, this will be my first drag and drive. I've been to the track a few times, but not with a supercharger on my car, so we'll see how that goes. I'm excited to race at Samoa with the beach. And
Beautiful track.
Yeah, and I'm driving my car the entire way from the house all the way down and back, so it's not being trailered, so I'm kind of excited for the full road trip.
And I'm looking forward to it. I've never been involved in racing or the racing community, and being able to go with family. Really looking forward to it.
I should probably introduce everyone. So this is Stephanie, my wife. She drives the red Mustang. This is Dick, my father-in-law, and this is Logan. You've met him before. He's got a little taller since the last time you saw him, I think. What are you excited for, buddy?
I don't know.
The trip?
Yeah.
Classic response.
It's early for him. So anyways, we're all packed up. You're going to take the first leg, I assume?
Yeah.
Dick's going to drive first, so I'll just monitor everything, and I'll probably be making this video. So we're going to get on the road, and we'll catch back with you when we have something interesting.
I was watching a cat chase a grasshopper or something.
I was too.
All right, so here we are. We're going to weigh the truck. Last year, we were a little over 20,000 pounds all in. So front axle, 4420. Okay, come forward. Both axles, 12,500. And just a little bit at 7340. All right, I'm gonna check on everything in the trailer and get back with it. Here, let me zoom in. So we were flying down the freeway, heard a loud pop. Sure enough. So we're gonna see if we can get it off and change it. Other side looks all right, but we're pretty close to the freeway, so let's see. All right, 30 minutes later, we got the tire changed. Trailer's a little worse for wear, but nothing too bad. Off we go. All right, we are a long ways from home, looking for a tire. Gonna go ahead and replace the tire from my spare as well, because it's 14 years old. Let's see what happens. All right, and we got a new Freedom hauler. I like the name of that. On our way, bringing the freedom. Well, this is a familiar sight. I think we might have made it 50 miles since we put the other tire back on. And here we have fatality number 2. At least it's on this side, so I can change it on the side of the road. Cool. Field mod.
It's not that bad.
I mean, I could probably get another half turn on it. Or another catch.
Let's do that when we get down there, because you're in the gravel here.
Well, it's just the pin. We didn't record the new tire going on because we have the spare on there now. Everything's all set. We've done this before, so back on the road. Fingers crossed we're good this time.
One piece.
Where's the keys for the car?
In the cup holder.
All right, we're going.
Okay.
You want that door closed?
Probably.
Well,
Speed will get it.
Oh, you're good.
We're having fun. We're on an adventure.
Whoopsie. I just remembered I was supposed to take a video outside and update everybody on what was going on while Ian is going to get new tires. So we've blown 2 tires so far, which I'm sure he's already covered. And that means we have two old... What?
You still awake?
What?
Are you still awake?
Yes, I'm still awake. So we still have 2 old tires left, and if one of those pops, we're going to be stranded wherever we are. So he's going to get just all new tires, and we won't have to worry about it. So It's what it is 5:31 p.m. We still have 5 hours till we get to Medford. That's with no stops, food, fuel, whatever. So it's gonna be a late night, but we'll be there just in a jiff. So okay.
All right, as my wife just told you, we are on an adventure. All of us, actually. So I am flying down the freeway, trying to drive 30 minutes the opposite direction we just came, back towards home, to go to a Walmart that says they have 4 of the tires that we need 3 of, because the back 2 blew, as you saw, but we stopped after the second one, periodically checking the tires, and the last time that we stopped, the front ones that have not been replaced was very hot. One of them had a piece of stainless in it. Now, it could have been from the tire that blew because it was on that side, but the opposite side, the one that blew this morning in the front, that didn't, the one on the side that blew this morning was very warm to the touch, and then the sidewall had like a little dimple to it, a little wrinkle. So, not trusting that one, I started calling around and found a place that was just going to stay open long enough that we could get this done. So we hurried up and zipped all the front wheels off the front axle that haven't been replaced yet, and I'm just going to go down and replace them, and then I'll have one additional installed because it was the one that had blown that we didn't replace before. So we have a good spare, 2 good tires if you count the spare, and then the 2 that are supposed to be on there. So all in total we have 5. Anyways, long story short, we are spending some money today to replace trailer tires unexpectedly. Good stuff. Let's get this done. We're on the road. So I have my ultra premium Sutong trailer tires. No idea if they have a warranty. They didn't know. I'd asked 2 different people. Hopefully I don't even need to worry about it. But one concern that I have, well, I had a bunch of concerns while I was there, but one of them was 2 different people tried balancing the wheels. One guy seemed like he had been there a while, knew what he was doing. The other guy seemed like he didn't know his ass from the hole in the ground. He ended up putting 6 ounces on this thing in different spots. And I finally asked the old dude, I was like, can you rebalance that? He took all the weights off and put like 2 ounces on it. So I don't know how this is gonna go. I'm hoping that it's gonna be just fine because I have no other choice. But the old guy said he balanced all 3 of them. Off we go. Can't think of a single thing that can go wrong. Got to update you guys. We got the tires mounted. We put another 50, 70 miles on them. They're good to go. Car's filled, truck's filled. We're gonna go some in and out. Catch you back with you then. All right, checking in from Kaiser, Oregon. I don't know what it's called. Everybody's made it. No tires have popped, and we are here. We're here. Honey, what time is it?
2:51 a.m.
2:51. That's what time we arrived at Medford. And we're going to go directly to sleep. We're not going to pass go or anything. We're just going to go right to sleep. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll probably have to move the trailer and do all those things, but that'll be tomorrow. Well, that's today's problem or whatever. Okay, bye.
Yeah.